My child, stop right here. Do not scroll past this. I know you almost did. I know your thumb was already moving. I know you have heard 100 messages that started this way, and most of them did not reach you. But this one is different, and somewhere inside you, you already feel that. This moment right now is not an accident. Out of everything you could have been doing tonight, you are here. Out of every video, every distraction, every place your attention could have gone, something pulled you to this exact spot at this exact second. That was me. I arranged this. Not the algorithm, not coincidence, not luck. I arranged this because there is something I need to say to you tonight. Something I have been trying to get through to you for weeks, maybe longer, and you have been too busy, too distracted, too exhausted to hear it. So I brought it to you. Right here. Right now. While the world is quiet enough for you to actually listen. Can you give me a few minutes? Just stay with me. Do not rush. Do not skip ahead. What I am about to say is going to reach a place inside you that has not been touched in a very long time. My child, you have been strong for too long. And I need you to hear that. Not as a compliment, not as praise, as a diagnosis. You have been strong for too long, and it is breaking you. Not loudly, not dramatically, not in any way that anyone around you would notice. Quietly. The way a wall cracks from the inside before anyone sees it from the outside. You have been carrying weight that was never meant to be carried by one person for this many days, this many months, this many years. And you kept going. You kept showing up. You kept answering the phone and solving the problems and holding the family together and smiling through the pain and telling everyone you were fine. But you are not fine. You have not been fine for a long time. And tonight, I am not going to ask you to be. You feel this, don't you? You feel something in your chest loosening right now because someone finally named it. If you do, just type the words, "God sees me," because I do. I have always seen you, even when you thought you were invisible. Let me tell you what I saw today. I saw you wake up with the weight already on your chest, before the alarm, before the light came through the window, before the day even began. It was already heavy. The same heaviness you went to sleep with. The same heaviness you have been waking up to for so long that you have stopped recognizing it as something wrong. You think this is just how mornings feel now. You think this is just what your life sounds like when it starts. It is not. That heaviness is not normal, and you were not built to live under it. I watched you push through it, the way you always do. I watched you talk yourself into getting out of bed. I watched you rehearse the smile in the mirror. I watched you walk into the day wearing a version of yourself that takes more energy to maintain than anyone will ever know. I saw you answer every text, handle every problem, listen to every person who needed something from you. I saw you nod and smile and say the right things at the right time with the right tone. And then I saw what happened when you were alone. The way your face changed, the way your shoulders dropped, the way you leaned against the counter or sat in the car or closed the bathroom door and just stood there, breathing. Not because you needed air, because you needed a moment where no one was watching. I was watching, not to judge you, not to evaluate you, not to measure whether you were grateful enough or faithful enough or strong enough. I was watching because I love you, and it hurts me to watch someone I love carry this much alone for this long. I know about the performance. I know about the version of you that the world sees, and the version of you that exists underneath. The world sees someone who has it together, someone reliable, someone steady, the one who always shows up, the one who always knows what to say, the one everyone calls when things fall apart, because you have somehow become the person who holds other people's lives together. But underneath that, there is a person nobody asks about. A person who is tired in ways that sleep cannot fix. A person who has cried in places designed for privacy because the rest of life does not allow for tears. A person who gives advice they wish someone would give them. A person who holds space for everyone else's pain and then goes to bed alone with their own. That is the person I am speaking to tonight. Not the strong one, not the reliable one, not the one who has it all figured out, the one who is exhausted from pretending to be all of those things. You feel this, don't you? You feel something unlocking right now, because no one has spoken to that part of you in a very long time. Stay with me. There is more I need to say. I want to talk about something that no one else will say to you. You have become so good at holding other people that you forgot you were allowed to be held. Think about the last time someone genuinely asked how you were doing. Not the polite version, not the passing version in the hallway at work, or the quick text with a heart emoji. The real version. The one where someone sat down, looked at you, and said, "Tell me the truth. How are you?" You cannot remember, can you? And the part that hurts the most is that you noticed. You noticed the absence. You noticed that the phone rings when someone else needs you, but goes silent when you are the one falling apart. You noticed that you are the first person everyone calls, and the last person anyone checks on. But you did not say anything, because complaining about it would feel needy. And needy is the one thing you have trained yourself never to be. So you swallowed it. You filed it away in the same place you file everything else that hurts. And you kept showing up, kept answering, kept giving. I watched you do that. And I need you to know that you are not needy for wanting to be cared for. You are not selfish for wanting someone to show up for you the way you show up for everyone else. You are not weak for wishing, just once, that someone would carry you. That is not weakness. That is the most human thing about you. And tonight, I am that someone. I am carrying you right now, whether you can feel it or not. People started treating your strength like it was permanent, like it was a feature instead of a sacrifice. They stopped asking if you were okay because you were so good at looking okay. They stopped checking on you because you never gave them a reason to worry. They started assuming that your silence meant peace, that your composure meant comfort, that because you never complained, you must not be hurting. But silence does not always mean peace. Sometimes silence means you have run out of words to describe what you feel. Sometimes silence means you tried once and no one listened, so you stopped trying. Sometimes silence means you are carrying something so heavy that even naming it feels like it would shatter whatever strength you have left. I know about that silence. I have been sitting in it with you every single night. When the house goes dark and the phone goes quiet and it is just you and the ceiling and the weight of everything you held together that day. I was there when you replayed the conversation for the 100th time, when you stared at nothing and felt everything, when the tears came without warning and you could not even explain why. I was there. I did not leave when it got heavy. I never do. Let me tell you something about this tiredness you are feeling. It is not weakness. It is not a lack of faith. It is not evidence that something is wrong with you. It is the natural result of a human being doing more than they were designed to do for longer than they were designed to do it, without the rest they were designed to receive. You were never built to run without stopping. I built you for rhythms, for seasons of pouring out and seasons of being filled, for giving and then receiving, for walking and then resting. But you skipped the resting part, over and over and over again. You kept pouring out and you never let anyone pour back in. You kept giving and you never let anyone give to you. You kept walking and you never let yourself stop, even when your body was screaming, even when your mind was begging, even when your soul was running on fumes. And now you are here, empty in places that used to overflow, heavy in places that used to feel light, numb in places that used to feel everything. I see all of it, and I did not bring you to this moment tonight to lecture you about it. I brought you here to restore you. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Tonight, I do not want you to hear that as a verse you have read before. I want you to hear it as my voice, speaking directly to you, in this room, at this hour, in this exact moment of your exhaustion. Come to me. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more spiritual, not when you have cleaned yourself up. Now, just like this, tired, heavy, barely holding on. That is exactly how I want you to come. If those words reached something inside you, type, "I come to you, Lord," and mean it, not as a performance, as a surrender. I want to talk about what happens when the world goes quiet at night, because I know that is when the real battle begins for you. During the day, you can distract yourself. You can stay busy. You can fill the hours with noise and tasks and conversations. But at night, when the distractions fall away, everything you push down rises back up. The worry, the fear, the regret, the replayed mistakes, the imagined disasters, the what-ifs that spin faster and faster until your chest is tight and your breathing is shallow and the darkness feels heavier than it should. Your mind becomes the loudest room in the house, and you cannot find the switch to turn it off. You try to pray, and the words scatter before they form. You try to breathe, and every breath feels like it has to be earned. You try to sleep, and your body is exhausted, but your thoughts refuse to stop. I know that feeling, and I am not going to tell you to just stop worrying. I am not going to quote you a verse and walk away. I know it does not work like that. I know the mind does not have a switch you can just flip. I know that someone saying calm down has never once actually made anyone calm. So I am not going to say that. I am going to say this instead. I am here in the noise with you. I am the one steady thing in the middle of everything that spins. You do not have to sort your thoughts before you talk to me. You do not have to organize your pain into something presentable. You can bring me the mess. The full, unfiltered, chaotic, overwhelming mess. I am not overwhelmed by it. I am not overwhelmed by you. You have never been too much for me. I want to talk about the mask, the one you put on before anyone can see your real face. It happens almost automatically now. You wake up, and before your feet hit the floor, it is already in place. The composure, the steadiness, the I am fine, I am good, I am blessed, I cannot complain. You have said those words so many times that they have lost all meaning. They are not descriptions anymore. They are armor. I know why you wear it. Because the last time you took it off in front of someone, they did not know what to do with what was underneath. They gave you a Bible verse when what you needed was a hug. They gave you advice when what you needed was silence. They told you to pray harder, as if the problem was that you had not tried hard enough, as if your pain was a failure of effort. Or maybe it was worse than that. Maybe they used what you shared against you. Maybe they told someone else. Maybe your vulnerability became gossip, and you decided, never again. Never again will I show anyone the real version of what is happening inside me. So you sealed it off. And now you are suffocating behind a wall you built to protect yourself. I need you to know something. With me, the mask is not necessary. You do not have to perform okay for me. You do not have to find the right words. You do not have to frame your pain in a way that sounds spiritual or mature or faithful. You can be angry. You can be confused. You can be afraid. You can tell me that you do not understand what I am doing. You can tell me that this season does not make sense. You can tell me that you are tired of waiting, and tired of hurting, and tired of being tired. I will not walk away. I will not punish you for your honesty. I will sit with you in every syllable of it, because I would rather have your rawest, most honest, most broken prayer than your most polished, most rehearsed, most performed one. I have always preferred honesty over performance. You feel that, don't you? Something just unclenched inside you. Good. Let it. I know about the guilt. It sits beneath everything else, like a foundation you never chose to build on. Guilt for feeling tired when others have it worse. Guilt for not being grateful enough when you know you should be. Guilt for the prayers that faded, the faith that flickered, the Sundays you could not face people, the mornings you could not get up. Guilt for wanting more from life when the world tells you that you should be satisfied with what you have. That guilt has been stealing your peace, and most of it was never yours to carry. Some of it was placed on you by people who confused love with conditions. Some of it was built by years of hearing that a real Christian does not struggle like this, that real faith does not waver, that if you truly trusted me, you would not feel this way. That is a lie, and it has kept you from me for too long. You can love me and still be in pain. You can believe in me and still have doubts. You can be grateful and still be grieving. Those things have always been allowed to exist in the same heart. I designed hearts that way, complex, deep, capable of holding joy and sorrow in the same breath. So stop punishing yourself for being human. I never asked you to be anything else. I want to speak to the loneliness now, not the kind that comes from being alone. You could handle that. The deeper kind. The kind that follows you into rooms full of people. You sit at the table and you laugh at the right moments and you say the right things, and no one can tell that inside. You feel like you are watching everything through glass. Close enough to see people, too far away to be reached by them. You know their names, they know yours, but that is where the knowing stops. They know the version of you that you have carefully curated, the version that laughs easily, the version that has opinions about safe topics, the version that never makes anyone uncomfortable with the truth of how you really feel. But they do not know you, not the you who lies awake at 2 a.m, wondering if any of this matters. Not the you who replays old conversations, looking for proof that someone actually cared. Not the you who sometimes looks in the mirror and does not recognize the person staring back, because somewhere along the way you lost yourself inside the role you were playing. That loneliness is suffocating. And you have lived in it for so long that you have started to think it is just how connection works for you. That closeness is something other people get. That being truly known is a luxury you were not built for. That is not true. You were built for exactly that. And tonight, even if no one else on earth sees the real you, I do. every layer, every shadow, every version you have hidden. I see you, and I have not looked away once. There is a kind of grief you are carrying that does not have a name. Not the grief of death, although some of you know that weight too, but the grief of the life you thought you would have by now. The grief of relationships that did not become what you hoped, of doors that closed without explanation, of prayers that were answered with silence for so long that you stopped praying them. The grief of watching other people receive the things you have been quietly asking for, and being genuinely happy for them. But then, going home and sitting with the ache of wondering when it will be your turn, or if it will ever be your turn. That grief does not come with a ceremony. There is no casket, no flowers, no card in the mail. It just sits in your chest, quietly, making everything a little heavier, making joy a little harder to access, making hope feel like a risk you cannot afford to take again. And because no one can see this grief, no one gives you permission to feel it. You tell yourself you should be over it by now. You tell yourself other people have real problems. You tell yourself that what you lost was not big enough to mourn. But grief is not measured by what other people can see. It is measured by what it cost you. And what you lost cost you deeply. I know that. I am not asking you to get over it. I am not asking you to be grateful it happened because of what you learned. I am asking you to let me grieve it with you, because you have been mourning alone for too long, and grief was never meant to be carried in isolation. I am here, in the mourning, in the missing, in the ache of what could have been, right here. I know about the tears, the ones you cry, where no one can find you. The shower, the car, the pillow at 3 a.m, the tears that come without warning, triggered by a song, a memory, a sentence someone said, without knowing it would break something open inside you. You wipe them quickly. You compose yourself. You rebuild the face before anyone sees. But I saw, every single time. Psalm 56 verse 8 says, "You have collected all my tears in your bottle." I kept them. Every one. The ones from last night, from last month, from the season you thought you had already healed from until something small cracked it open again. I kept them because they mattered, because your pain is not invisible to me, because every tear that fell when no one was watching fell into my hands. You are not crying alone. You have never been crying alone. If you needed to hear that tonight, type, "You see my tears, Lord." Because I do. I always have. Now I need to tell you something about who you are. And I need you to hear it without deflecting, without shaking your head, without that voice in your mind that says, "This does not apply to me." It does apply to you. Every word. You are not who your worst days say you are. You are not who your failures say you are. You are not who that voice in your head says you are at 3 a.m, when it is loudest and cruelest and most convincing. You are mine. Chosen before you took your first breath. Loved not because of your performance, but because of my nature. I do not love you because you earned it. I love you because that is who I am. And nothing you have done or failed to do has changed that for even a second. I am proud of you, not for the things the world would celebrate, not for the productivity or the accomplishments or the image you have maintained. I am proud of you for surviving, for waking up on the mornings when your body begged you to stay in bed, and your mind gave you every reason to, for showing up to a life that was taking more than it was giving, and still choosing to try, for holding it together in moments when you were absolutely certain you were going to fall apart. That is not small. That is one of the bravest things a human being can do. And you have been doing it every single day without recognition, without applause, without anyone telling you that what you are doing matters. It matters. You matter. You have been measuring yourself against everyone else's timeline and calling yourself a failure. You have been looking at where you are and comparing it to where you think you should be. And the gap feels like evidence that something went wrong. Nothing went wrong. Your path does not look like theirs because it was never supposed to. I did not design you for their life. I designed you for yours. And yours includes the hard parts, the slow parts, the parts that do not look impressive from the outside. Those are not delays. Those are not punishments. Those are not proof that I forgot about you. They are part of the building. And I am building something in you that you cannot see yet. But I can see it. And it is beautiful. And it is worth every hard season you have walked through to get here. I need you to hear this next part very carefully, because this is what I have been trying to reach you with for weeks. Something is shifting. You cannot feel it yet because the heaviness is still too loud. But underneath the exhaustion, underneath the numbness, underneath the doubt, something is quietly moving. The prayers you thought I did not hear, I heard every one, and I have been answering them in ways you will not recognize until you look back. The dreams you buried because you were too tired to hope for them, they are not dead. I have been keeping them safe, holding them in a place where your disappointment could not reach them. The breakthrough you stopped believing was coming. It did not stop because you stopped believing. It was never dependent on the strength of your faith. It was always dependent on the faithfulness of my timing. And my timing is not late. I know it feels late. I know it feels like everyone else received theirs, and you are still waiting. I know the waiting has made you wonder if maybe you were passed over, if maybe your prayers were not loud enough or good enough or frequent enough. They were enough. You were always enough. And what I have for you has not been canceled. It has not been given to someone else. It has not expired. It is closer than it has ever been. Not because you earned it, because the season is shifting. You feel that, don't you? Something in your spirit just moved. Something that has been still for a long time just flickered. That is hope. And it is not false this time. Stay with me. We are almost at the place I have been leading you to all along. But before I get there, I need you to hear this. I was there. In every moment you thought you were alone, I was there. When you sat in the car after work and could not make yourself go inside because you needed 5 more minutes of silence before you put the face back on. I was in the passenger seat. When you stood in the kitchen gripping the counter with both hands, forcing yourself to breathe because the wave of emotion came out of nowhere and almost took you under. I was standing right beside you. When you woke up at 3 in the morning with your heart racing and that unnamed dread sitting on your chest, and the room felt too dark and too quiet and too empty all at once. I was in that room. When the song came on and something inside you shattered and your whole body shook with tears you had been holding for weeks, I held you through every second of it. I did not watch from a distance. I was not checking in periodically. I was there. In every bathroom you hid in every car you cried in every dark room you stared at the ceiling in every silent prayer that was nothing more than a groan because you did not have the words. I heard the groan. I translated it, and I answered. Not always in the way you expected, not always on the timeline you wanted, but every single prayer you thought dissolved before it reached the ceiling landed directly in my hands. You were never praying to an empty room. You were never crying to a God who was not listening. I was there. I have always been there. And I am here now. I need to give you permission for something tonight. Permission to rest. Not when the list is done. Not when everyone is taken care of. Not when you have earned it. Now. You are allowed to stop performing tonight. You are allowed to put your phone down and not answer the message. You are allowed to cancel the plans because your heart needs silence more than your calendar needs filling. You are allowed to sit in a dark room and do absolutely nothing and call that holy. Because rest is not laziness. Rest is not failure. Rest is what I designed you to return to over and over again, because you were never meant to live on output alone. I need you to let your body release right now. Drop your shoulders. They have been carrying tension you stopped noticing weeks ago. Unclench your jaw. You have been holding it tight without realizing it. Let your hands go soft. Breathe in, slowly, as slowly as you can, and breathe out. Let the weight leave your chest with that breath. Not all of it, just some. Just enough for this moment. You do not have to solve anything tonight. You do not have to fix anything. You do not have to plan or prepare or protect. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Psalm 23. That is what I am doing right now. Not leading you into another battle. Not pushing you toward the next mountain. Restoring you. Quietly, gently, the way you have needed someone to do for a very long time. Let the tiredness come. Not the fighting it tiredness, the releasing tiredness. The kind where your whole body finally admits what it has been carrying and decides, just for tonight, to set it down. Feel the pillow beneath your head. Feel the weight of the blanket. Feel the way the room holds you when you stop holding yourself. This is what safety feels like. Not the absence of problems, the presence of someone bigger than your problems. I am bigger than every worry circling your mind right now. I am bigger than the bill. Bigger than the conversation you are dreading. Bigger than the relationship that is falling apart. Bigger than the fear that has been following you for months. You do not have to be bigger than them. You just have to be held by someone who is. And you are. Right now. In this very breath. Tomorrow will come. It will bring the noise again. The demands. The people. The weight. But tomorrow you will carry it differently. Because tonight, something changed. Not something dramatic. Not something you can point to or explain. But something real. Something in your spirit softened. Something that has been clenched for months, finally unclenched just enough to let light in through the cracks. Healing does not always come with trumpets. Sometimes it comes like this. Quiet, slow, in a conversation between your heart and mind that no one else will ever hear. But you will feel it. Maybe not tonight, maybe not tomorrow. But soon you will notice that the mornings are not quite as heavy as they used to be, that the smile takes a little less effort, that the numbness has edges now where it used to be total. That is me. Working in the places you cannot see, moving in the spaces you stopped watching, restoring what the hard seasons took from you. I have already started. Isaiah 41, verse 10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Let those be the last words your heart holds tonight. Not the worry, not the guilt, not the fear, not the replayed conversations. Just this. I am with you. I will uphold you. Not after you earn it. Now. In the dark. In the quiet. In the exhaustion. Right here. Close your eyes now, my child, but let the day fall away. Let the noise settle like dust. I will tend to it in the morning. Tonight you do not have to carry anything. Tonight you do not have to be anyone. Tonight you are not the strong one. You are not the fixer. You are not the one everyone depends on. Tonight you are just a child. My child. Resting in the safest place there is. And I have enough strength for both of us. So rest. Rest knowing that I am not leaving this room. Rest knowing that the prayers you whispered were heard. Rest knowing that the breakthrough is not gone. It is close. Closer than you think. Rest knowing that you are loved. Not for what you carry. Not for what you give. Not for how well you perform. For who you are. And who you are is mine. You are not alone tonight. You were never alone. And you are more loved than your tired heart can hold right now. But one day you will feel the full weight of it, and it will not crush you. It will heal you. It will fill every empty place. It will touch every wound you thought was permanent. That day is coming. But tonight, just rest. You are safe. You are held. You are home. If this message reached your heart tonight, comment the words, "God is my refuge and my rest." Let that be your declaration before you close your eyes. Not a wish, not a hope, a truth. God is my refuge and my rest. In the exhaustion, in the loneliness, in the silence, in the waiting. God is my refuge and my rest. Amen. Sleep now. I am with you, and I am not letting go.